Started. Okay, first announcement. Our Tuesday classroom will be changed to this classroom again. Every Tuesday, it will be here. Please take note. Second announcement, next week it will be your test. I accidentally slipped. My words slipped from my mouth. Actually, it should be this week. I say wrongly. So next week, it will be postponed to next week. Week 9 will be your topical summary. I will brief you on Friday. Thursday or Friday, your class? Thursday. I'll brief you on Thursday. Please remind me. Third thing, I already uploaded answer guide for chapter 2, the whole thing inside the general channel files tab, and I also uploaded the progress review answer inside general channel files tab. Right? Please take note. I asked my class rep to inform me. No class rep inform me. That's it. Okay. Take note. And number 4, by right, now you should already completed pre-class activities for tax and subsidies. Are you done with that? Yes? Okay. So, since we used up a lot of time, I will not talk about summary. Let's go straight to our class. Right? Okay. Previously, we talked about the direct and indirect tax. Any question on direct and indirect taxes? There's no summary for today due to we don't have the luxury of time. Any questions on direct and indirect tax? Do you know what's the difference between direct and indirect tax? Let me ask someone first. Who is next? Melin? Melin? Do you know what's the difference between direct and indirect tax? Okay, yeah, that one's example. So what's the meaning? By a third. It's collected by third party. Direct is collected directly by the government, right? Because the direct tax, like income tax and corporate tax, they already have your IC. They already have your IC. They already have your corporate registration number, right? So you cannot escape the tax, right? But for indirect tax, because the third party, they don't know your IC. You know what I mean? They don't know your corporate ID, they don't know your IC. Because of that, sometimes they say direct tax cannot be shifted, but indirect tax can be shifted. For example, if I want to watch a movie right now, but I don't want to pay the tax, what should I do? I want to watch a movie with you. Yes, we ask our friends to pay for us. Makes sense, right? Then the tax is successfully shifted to another people. This is for indirect tax. Then only it can be shifted. For direct tax, it cannot be shifted. Because regardless of you ask how many people to pay for you in the end, it's still linked to your ID, right? Your registration and so on. That's the difference between direct and indirect. Under indirect, there are furthermore 2 types of indirect. One is ad valorem, another one is specific. Ad valorem means percentage, right? Ad valorem means percentage form. As long as you see the tax is under percentage, it's ad valorem, right? For example, VAT or GST. Right, VAT is value added tax from UK, GST is previously Malaysia. After that, Malaysia changed it to SST. Now they want to go back to GST. Your government is still free, nothing to do. Right? So value added tax is so that you don't use a car, because for petrol, basically it will lead to pollution. Because of that, they want to tax pollution. How they tax? They tax it on petrol. Right? When they tax it on petrol, you will use lesser car so that you don't use the car. Right? Another is specific tax. This is what we focus on. All your diagrams will be based on specific tax today, right? What is specific? Specific is relatively easier because it's not percentage form, it's per unit form. Per unit means what? Per kilo, per liter, per hour, right? As long as the text is per unit, per packet of cigarettes, for example, then it is specific text. Specific is easier to draw compared to ad valorem. So foundation only focus on specific text, right? So for example, UK vehicle excise duty is like road tax. Road tax is paid once every 6 or 12 months. This one is so that you don't buy the car, right? Both also they are taxing pollution. One is percentage to tax the petrol so that you use lesser car. Another one is to tax the car so that you don't buy the car, so that you can use more public transport and don't use the personal private car. Okay, so previously in chapter 2, we talked about supply shift left when there's a tax. I don't know how many of you still remember chapter 2, although we just have our test 2 weeks ago, right? Do you know tax is one of the determinants that shift the supply curve? Some of you drew the demand curve, which is wrong. In foundation, tax and subsidies, write down again. In foundation, tax and subsidies is only applicable to supply curve. Only shift the supply curve. Don't ever shift the demand curve. All right? This is to simplify your learning process, not my process. All right? So we will not learn a lot on the different type of consumer tax because consumer tax is harder, more complicated. But we only learn the supplier tax. That's why tax and subsidies is only for suppliers, right? For example, this is an alcohol. Government want to tax the alcohol. Alcohol supply will shift left from S1 to S2, right? Do not write because the government tax the alcohol, people will consume lesser alcohol. Does it make sense? That one is demand. Don't write demand. Don't write consumers will buy lesser alcohol, right? You should write suppliers will decrease the supply, shift to the left, right? That is what we covered previously in chapter 2. However, I never tell you where is the tax. So in this chapter, we're going to add one more component, which is let you see where is the tax. Okay, the tax is right now. What's the tax? The tax is vertical distance. Vertical distance between two supply curve. Right now, just right now. Tax is vertical distance between two supply curves. Which means this is my P and Q. This is my alcohol ring, right? This is my demand and supply. And when there's a tax, supply will shift to the left. This is what we covered previously, chapter 2. But chapter 3, we need to add where's the tax, right? Tax must be, take note, tax must be vertical distance, like that. Okay, when you draw your double head arrow or whatever, or when you draw a dotted line, don't draw it like that. This is not vertical distance. Makes sense? Don't draw it like that. This is not vertical distance. Does it make sense to you? Why is it different? When you do calculation, why is it different? Owen? Coordinates. Because according to Pythagoras theorem, right? Pythagoras theorem, you all know, right? Don't need me to teach you, right? Every side is different, right? One is 3, one is 4, one is 5, for example. 3, 4, 5. So when you do calculation, you never do the measurement vertical distance properly, then you will get a wrong answer. Does it make sense? So it must be vertical distance. Get me? Vertical distance cannot be horizontal distance, cannot be slanted distance. All right? Take note, not? This one will be part of your test. Take note. Wow, I can't wait to see next week. Well, next week you will be GG, I think. Next week there will be 4 scenarios. Okay, we don't talk about that first. Focus on this. So after that, I drew this thing out. You don't need to draw first. I will share with you how to draw later. I just want you to know where's the text. Eugene. Then according to what I just said, what is the text amount? Hmm? 30 cents You really me? Next one. Yunqing. Yeah, it's 50 cents 30 cents is just half of the vertical distance Eugene, can you see? Can you see or not, ladies and gentlemen? 30 cents is just half of the vertical distance. It's just here. This is what the student always do wrongly, right? This is just 30 cents, half of the vertical distance. I want vertical distance between 2 supply curves. So it must be here, or right, or here, or here. Doesn't matter where, because they are parallel. As long as you can get 2 vertical distance, then you're correct. Okay, so the vertical distance must be between 2 supply curves, which is 50 cents. 4 ringgit 30 cents minus 3 ringgit and 50 cents. Can see at the far one. You sit on the last row, can you see? Can. Can? Okay, next question. Since the tax is 50 cents, right? You say one. Tax is 50 cents, right? Tax per unit is 50. Why you cannot find? Why you do like that? Can find or not? Do I need to show you or not? Where? What? Where's the tax? The arrow. The arrow there, which arrow? The one. Arrow number 1, arrow number 2, number 3, number 4, which one? This one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one? Huh? Just now you said 4? Oh, like that. Oh. Here, here consider or not? Number 5. No Oh, curve already. Oh, like that Okay. Like that A bit curve Oh, like that So I need to use ruler Oh, like that Okay. Like that Correct. How much is the tax in number 5? 50 cents How you get 50 cents? 50 is 50 cents, right? Okay. Then why the price only increased by 30 cents? If the tax is 50 cents, this is original price equilibrium. This is the new equilibrium price. Why the price only increased by 30 cents, not 50? Why?
Because the producer need to earn profit.
Producer need to earn profit, so producer go and pay more tax more profit Huh? Almost there but not correct. Why Can you see? This is 50 cents, right? The tax is 50 cents, right? But this price increase, right? Only increased by 30 cents. Why? Yes, producer need to cover tax. Producer needs to cover tax, right? Because producer are worried that if they don't cover partial of the tax, no one is going to buy from them. So most of the products, producer will absorb part of the tax. This is known as the incidence of tax. Incidence of tax shows that it is defined as the actual division of the burden of the tax between the buyers and the sellers in the market, right? This is incidence of tax or tax incidence. All right. All right. So before I move on to tax incidence, can you please draw this in your first diagram? What is that first diagram? Page 87. Please draw page 87. Or I check on your homework.
And zoom in.
Zoom in. Is it enough? Not enough, huh? Wait, check. Oh, come. Show me your homework. Yeah. What do? Little bit. I can follow. Come, show me your homework. Your baby. I cannot believe, right? Hey, you're not allowed to bring babies to class. Oh, yours, huh? Is it him? His baby? You notice you're very scary. 10 years old boy go and drive the car, 18 years old already got a baby. Right? Very scary. Do you bring your brother and drive when you're 10 years old? Or 8 years old? This is what? Question 2. This one I will teach one. Innocent, how many help? Yes. What's her name? Picture. Wow, picture that what's red color already? Picture. Hey, you don't know my warning, man? What color already? No color yet, man? Sure or not? Pink lecture, is it? Oh no, yeah, oh, no color. Now become got color. Hey, later 11 AM. Wow, so many. I don't know my room can fit. Later 11, how many of you coming? 11 AM? Only one. Huh? Then by Friday cannot fit so many. 11 AM. Compulsory. Only Tuesday or Friday. 11. For those who send me timetable, I won't check. Later I check your timetable. Right, 11. Only 2. 2 coming. The rest 3, 4. Okay. The rest who have class have to come on Friday or send me your timetable, like I say. Okay, let's continue. Next one is to draw this one. Tax burden. I'll share with you how to draw. Please pay attention. Right? This is known as incidence of tax. Let's see properly how to draw. First of all, we draw a demand curve and supply curve as usual. Oops. Demand and supply curve. Then you draw your PE, QE. This one don't draw also, never mind, PE, QE. Right? After that, you draw your supply curve. Shift to the left because there's a tax. The supply curve must be parallel to each other. Right? No, actually you have to draw a PE, QE. Okay, anyway. After that, take note, new equilibrium. For the new equilibrium, D and S1, please draw a dotted line horizontally vertically and horizontally.
So
Hmm?
first,
Need to draw dotted line also, because you need to separate them in burden later. All right. After that, the new supply curve that touch the demand curve, right? This angle here, this angle here that always touch the demand curve is known as the consumer burden. Consumer burden. So shade it and name this as consumer burden. Yes, the angle, the edge that touch the old supply curve is known as the producer burden. Producer burden. All right, this is the incidence of tax. Please draw this incidence of tax. I will let you look at my PowerPoint, which is easier for you to see. Okay, start drawing. Draw the demand and supply first, original one first. Draw it in page 88, correct? Yeah. This one only draw the text. You don't mention the text. You don't label the text. If you want to my work. Oh, it's. Oh, you ask me, is it? Yes, then must be one thing now. Yes. For why this of the one because after you catch right, you will only consume at this quantity. The fundamental consume at this quantity. So we take this quantity as the angle doesn't matter. I'm just showing speed. I'm not going to calculate angle to right. This is just the angle that is looking for. And you must know this angle is equal. Because the upper part is particular, the lower part is particular. This one you can label E1 if you want. E1. Yes, sir. Don't need. You need to label consumer burden and producer burden. Right?
about product.
Sure, yeah. I will try.
Product name.
Problem, yes. Because I give you another method. I put price of cigarettes and quantity of cigarettes in two sides. Then you don't need to put cigarettes in the middle. Right? So up to you. There's no P1 here because there's no this one is just normal. This one got some P2, some this P. The one can be P1 or P1. This one is because there's no for price sellers receive, right, ladies and gentlemen. For price sellers receive, this is not the equivalent price. This is not the old one nor the new one. So you don't need to put PE. Just put P1, PA, PB, whatever. Right? I still didn't manage to take yours. Third time, right? I'm sure I'll do this. Are you done? Do I need to show you how to draw again? You have to state the area and label it as consumer burden and producer burden. State the area using different colors of pencil another house.
Is that what?
Right. This is known as the tax burden, incidence of tax. Take note, right? Now, we have to link it to elasticity because the tax burden is bigger or smaller depends on the elasticity. If you're still not sure what is elasticity, then good luck. You might be getting GG in my next test, right? Because now I purposely draw it as even. You can see consumer burden and producer burden, they're even. But in the real world, it's not even. In the real world, consumer burden may be greater than producer burden, or producer burden may be greater than consumer burden. It depends on elasticity. Make sense? So we need to see which area either the consumer or producer will bear more tax, right? This is what is our analysis. First one is when your demand curve is elastic. When your demand curve is elastic, let me draw and show you. Elastic demand tax burden, right? How you have to draw is you have to draw following. The demand curve must be looks like E. The demand curve must look like E. Imagine it looks like E, all right? So this is your demand curve. Why suddenly hang? Cannot draw my demand curve. Okay, it must look like E, first of all. When I talk about elastic demand curve, first thing you must know is you must draw the elastic demand curve first. Then you draw two supply curve, right? One is the original supply curve. Another one is the new supply curve. Okay? Then you started to draw your dotted line. Where should I draw my dotted line? Okay, where should I draw my dotted line is the question. Because I need to know where's the tax, Adam. Don't speak vulgar language in my class. You say what shit just now? Disgusting. Early in the morning, talking about shit. Yes. So what type of shit? Cow poo? Chicken poo? Dog poo? Yes. Where should I draw my dotted line for the areas? I will give you a hint. Between which two lines? Oh, like that. What draw where? Vertical, horizontal. Draw vertical. Okay. Between the two supply curve, where? There are so many between the two supply curve area. Only two, man. Here. Here. Two supply curve. Huh? Here. Here. Where? Where should I draw my dotted line? To show this consumer burden and producer burden. You know or not? The rest know or not? Although I'm talking to him, I'm actually lecturing you all. You all know where to draw dotted line or not? This one will be in your test, huh? Crossing point, yeah. Which crossing point? DN? S, this one, this one, DNS, no, only new equilibrium. New equilibrium, we draw the vertical dotted line. New equilibrium. Where's the new equilibrium? D and S1. All right. I already summarized for you, ma. You didn't see my hint, meh? It is always in black, pink. Okay, black pink, remember, your intersection must be in black pink. You all never see my hint, no? You're very cringy. Is this the first time the older people say you're cringy? Okay, so black pink, new intersection, black pink, draw the vertical, then draw horizontal, two horizontal. After that, you draw from the O equilibrium. O equilibrium starts from here. All right, like that. How you like that? Make sense? So this is the consumer burden. Consumer burden. And another area is the producer burden. All right, then give a product name. Give a product name. Blackpink. Okay lah, can no. Let's use Blackpink for a start, no. Yeah, means it's a K-pop group, lor. You don't think naughty can already, yeah. Okay. Make sense? Make sense? Yeah, okay lah. Add one more word lah. Can no? Settle. You say Blackpink also cannot. Right? Oreo cannot. Cannot. Pepsi Pepsi Black how many stuff you want me to do? Done? Please draw this in the first. Where's the first one? Draw this in the page. Page 89. First one. You drop and do everything. Wait. Can't do it. Done. Yeah. How many check yours? Hey, stop. It's drawing there. Very good. Done. Oh, like that one. You're the what stuff? Brandon itself. No more phone. Let me check your work. Are you done? Hey, someone's got this. Okay. Okay. So my question to you is why? Do you see the consumer burden is now lesser than producer burden? The green color one is lesser than the purple color. Can you see or not? Why? Why when the demand curve is elastic, why consumer burden is lesser? Why? Because, sorry,
Consumer is responsive to price.
they're responsive, yeah. It means why?
They-
Yes. Like?
uh,
No, not like price increase, like
Blackpink Oreo.
Blackpink Oreo. Why Blackpink Oreo when there's a price increase? The producer have to bear most of the tax. Why? No?
Of demand.
It's related to demand, but not demand factors. You must relate it to PED factors. Right? You must relate it to PED factors. You have to think. What are the PED factors? Next week the test will come out. What are the PED factors? For example, like what? Substitutes. Because Blackpink Oreo has a lot of substitutes, different biscuits. Does it make sense? So when the price increases by a little bit, the consumer will respond by a lot. Due to that, the producer, they have to absorb most of the tax themselves. Does it make sense to all of you? Right? And only increase a little of the tax, or only pass a little of the tax to the consumers. This is known as the tax burden for elastic demand. Every time when you draw a diagram and you explain, you must link it to one of the factors that affect PED. Just now I use what? Substitutes. Right? You can use other factors, like because Blackpink Oreo is just a very more like wants than needs. For example, I can argue it's wants. I can eat the original Oreo, right? Who want to eat the Blackpink Oreo with the what pink color cream inside? So disgusting. Oops. Right. You know what I mean? I can argue there are many different factors. Depends on how you link it to your factors. Okay? Make sense? All this will be in next week test. I share with you first. My next week test will be using Doctor Strange. So think note. Doctor Strange. Huh?
Tuesday or Thursday?
You want Thursday or Tuesday?
Thursday.
Thursday. Thursday lor.
Next Thursday.
Yes,
Thursday.
Oh, do you want this Thursday? Also. Yeah. Initial is this week. Go to church. To do a prayer. To pray so that you can pass. Did I tell you about the one student that prayed? Did I tell you about the story? I went to the temple a few years ago, before COVID, right? In the, there's we pray to in Chinese, we pray to emperor ninth emperor during the September. We pray to ninth emperor, right? Right. Some Hokkien, right? So I went there. Then I saw my student there. No, I went to a temple. I saw the student there. I saw the student pray like that after his final exam, and I just marked his paper. I just marked it. I was whispering to myself, no matter you pray how much also useless. Already failed. I just marked a paper, already failed. Final exam. Wait until the final exam only pray. For what? Don't need pray on. Just need to hardworking a little bit, then can pass already. Pray for what? In the end, still fail, right? So after that, he repeat. Then I say, hey, last time you pray, how's the result? Okay, this is for elastic demand. Okay. You all laugh. Laugh. Later it's you, right? Okay. Let's have a break then. 9:33 already. Let's have a break first. Then we will continue with another 3.